A former casino employee just revealed something that answers one of the biggest arguments in gambling. Should you max bet or not? Thousands of players swear max bet is the only way to win big. Thousands more say it's the fastest way to go broke. But the real truth? Both are right, depending on the machine. And if you don't know the difference, max bet can either help you or destroy your bankroll faster than anything else on the casino floor. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly when max bet is worth it, when it's pointless, and when casinos use it as a psychological trap to drain thousands from unsuspecting players. Former slot technicians say this is the #1 misconception that costs players millions every year. On 90% of slot machines, RTP does not change with bet size. The same algorithm is running whether you bet 60 cents or $6. The machine doesn't care. The math doesn't change. So why do players feel like max bet pays better? Because the machine shows bigger wins, not better odds. Here's how casinos manipulate that feeling. If you bet $1 and win $5, that feels okay. But if you bet $5 and win $25, same RTP, same probability, just multiplied. The machine feels hotter at max bet. But statistically, according to former employees, you're losing the same percentage, just faster. A player named Rick learned this the hard way. Nice guy, worked construction, loved to gamble on Friday nights. He'd always max bet on his favorite Buffalo Gold machine because he thought it gave him better odds. Over the course of 6 months, Rick estimated he'd put about $15,000 through that machine at max bet. According to his own calculations, he won back about $9,000. He thought he was doing pretty well. But then one night, a former slot technician who was doing maintenance on the machine next to him overheard Rick talking about his strategy. The technician wanted to tell him the truth, that max betting wasn't increasing his odds at all, that he was just burning through money faster. But casino employees aren't allowed to give gambling advice according to company policy. So the technician just had to watch as Rick kept max betting, thinking he was playing smart. Here's what Rick didn't understand, and what most players don't understand according to insider reports. Max bet is not a strategy on most machines. It's just bigger losses disguised as bigger wins. Now, before you think max bet is always a trap, there are specific machines where max bet gives you a real mathematical advantage. But casinos will never advertise which ones. So here's the insider list that former employees wish every player knew. Former IGT and Aristocrat employees confirmed something that will shock you. Some progressive jackpots only unlock at max bet, especially older machines. If you're not max betting on these machines, you can win the bonus round, but you can't win the top jackpot. Even if you line up the perfect symbols, you're playing a game you literally can't win fully. A real example from employee records that former workers still talk about. A player hit the top jackpot combination on a classic progressive machine. According to the machine's programming, it would have paid $14,000. The guy was celebrating. He thought he'd just changed his life. But he wasn't max betting. He was betting about half the max. According to the machine's rules, which were buried in the fine print on the help screen, the progressive jackpot only unlocked at max bet. Instead of $14,000, he received $300. The player thought the machine robbed him. He called over a floor manager. He was furious. But the casino didn't do anything wrong according to the rules. The player just didn't read the fine print. Former employees report watching this happen multiple times over the years. Players hit jackpot combinations on progressives without max betting and get a fraction of what they thought they'd won. It's devastating to watch according to insider accounts. So on any classic progressive machine, either always max bet or don't play it at all. There's no middle ground according to former technicians. Newer games like Dragon Link, Lightning Link, Buffalo, and 88 Fortunes sometimes unlock additional features, but only above certain bet thresholds, according to programming specs. Former slot technicians explain that these games have what they call bet tiers. At lower bets, you get the base game, but at higher bets, you might unlock extra wilds, extra gold symbols, higher multipliers, or better bonus wheel segments. Max bet doesn't increase your RTP on these machines according to the algorithm, but it increases volatility and win potential. You're not more likely to win, but if you do win, it pays far bigger. Here's where it gets tricky though. according to insider analysis. If your bankroll is small, this is catastrophic. If your bankroll is large, this can work in your favor. One documented case from former employees involves a player who discovered this the hard way. He was playing Dragon Link at minimum bet for weeks, wondering why his bonus rounds always seemed disappointing compared to what he saw other players winning. One day, a regular player sitting next to him explained that at minimum bet, you're only activating the basic features. At max bet, you unlock additional dragons and higher multipliers. The player decided to switch to max bet. His first session, he lost $800 in about 45 minutes. He wasn't prepared for how fast the money disappeared. According to observations, he never came back after that. Former technicians explain this is the danger with these bet-dependent unlock machines. They punish you for not max betting by giving you worse bonus rounds, but they also punish you for max betting if your bankroll can't handle the volatility. Former casino managers say this is the only game where max bet genuinely changes your expected value in a meaningful way. On most video poker pay tables, max bet unlocks the full royal flush payout. If you bet less than max, a royal flush might pay you $200 or $1,250 depending on your bet size. But at max bet, that same royal flush pays $4,000. The jump isn't proportional according to the pay table. It's designed to heavily reward max bet players. In video poker, according to every professional player and former casino manager, max bet is the correct play. If you can't afford to max bet, you should lower your denomination. Play quarters instead of dollars. Play nickels instead of quarters. But always max bet according to optimal strategy. Former casino management reports this is one of the few rules that separates professional video poker players from casual ones. The pros understand the math. The casual players think they're being smart by conserving their bankroll with smaller bets, but they're actually costing themselves massive value when they hit that rare royal flush. Now here's where it gets dark according to insider reports. Slot technicians revealed 3 situations where max bet is the fastest way to lose everything. Buffalo Gold, Lightning Link, Dragon Link, and most aristocrat games are not built for max betting unless your bankroll is huge, according to programming analysis. Why? Because former technicians explain these games are programmed for long droughts, rare big bonuses, and massive stretches of dead spins. If you're betting $5 to $10 per spin, a bad run can wipe out $500 in minutes. Former casino staff have a name for this phenomenon: the max bet death spiral. Here's how it works according to observations. A player sits down at Buffalo Gold with $500. He's seen people win big on this machine, so he decides to max bet at $5 per spin. The first 20 spins, nothing hits. He's down $100 already. Then he gets a small win, maybe $15. He feels encouraged. He keeps going. Another 30 spins, barely anything. He's down $250 now. Then the bonus finally triggers. He's excited. This is what he's been waiting for. The bonus plays out and pays him $80. He's still down $170 overall, but he feels like he's getting somewhere. He keeps playing. Another 50 dead spins. Now he's down $400. He tells himself, I just need one more bonus. The machine triggers the bonus again. This time it pays $50. He's devastated. He just spent another $250 in spins to trigger a bonus that barely paid anything. He's almost out of money now. He has $80 left. He tells himself, just a few more spins. According to former employee observations, this is where players make the fatal mistake. They know they should quit, but they're so deep in the hole that they convince themselves they need to keep playing to get back to even. The $80 disappears in 16 spins. The player walks away broke and frustrated. Former technicians report watching this exact scenario play out dozens of times every single day. The problem, according to insider analysis, is that high volatility machines are designed for players with large bankrolls who can weather the droughts. When you max bet on these machines with a small bankroll, you're gambling on hope, not probability. Examples: Wheel of Fortune, Game of Thrones, Monopoly, Sex and the City. Former casino employees admit something casinos never advertise. These machines pay horrible RTP because casinos have to pay licensing fees to use the brand. Insiders explain that when IGT or Aristocrat designs a branded machine, they have to pay the brand owner, whether that's HBO, Parker Brothers, or whoever owns the intellectual property, a percentage of the machine's revenue. That cost gets passed on to players in the form of lower RTP. A former slot technician who worked on Game of Thrones machines revealed that the base RTP on that game ranges from 86% to 89%, depending on the casino's settings. Compare that to non-branded machines, which typically run 90% to 94%, and you can see the difference. When you max bet on these machines, according to insider calculations, you're just losing faster on a game that's already designed to drain your money. The brand name doesn't make the machine pay better. It just makes it more expensive to play. One particularly brutal example former employees witnessed. A woman who loved Sex in the City sat down at the branded machine and decided to max bet at $2.50 per spin because she wanted the full experience. Over the course of 3 hours, she lost $1,200 according to transaction records. Former workers overheard her telling her friend afterward, "That was so fun. I felt like I was part of the show." She had no idea she'd just paid $1,200 for 3 hours of entertainment on one of the worst-paying machines on the floor, according to insider data. This is where casinos get really sneaky, according to former employees. These machines make small payouts look like huge wins, even when you've lost money. At max bet, this becomes catastrophic because you're burning through money without realizing it. Here's an example former technicians use. You bet $5. The machine spins. It lands on a winning combination. Lights flash. Music plays. Coins clink. Your brain registers a win. The machine pays you $1.50. You won, but you just lost $3.50 on that spin. Former employees call these losses disguised as wins, and they're programmed into tons of modern machines. The celebration distracts you from the math according to psychological analysis. At max bet, these fake wins become devastating because you're losing significant money on every spin while the machine convinces you you're winning. One documented case that really bothered former workers. A man played one of these machines for 5 hours straight at max bet. He kept telling people around him, "I'm doing pretty well. I've hit a bunch of wins." According to transaction records, he'd lost over $2,000. But because the machine had been celebrating all those small losses disguised as wins, he genuinely had no idea how much money he'd actually lost. Former workers who gambled themselves had a rule they'd share with each other. If your bankroll can't survive 100 spins at max bet, don't max bet. So if max bet is $5, you need a $500 bankroll minimum. If you have $200, you need to find a machine where max bet is $2 or less. It's that simple, according to insider wisdom. This rule separates players who understand probability from players who are just hoping to get lucky. Former technicians explain that 100 spins gives you enough runway to potentially trigger features and see what the machine does. Less than that, and you're just burning money with no real chance to see returns. Former casino managers revealed something that explains why so many players max bet, even when they shouldn't. Max bet gives you the illusion of control. It makes you feel like you're playing seriously, like you're increasing your odds, like you're due for a big hit, like you're in the same league as high rollers. In reality, according to insider analysis, you're just going broke faster. Casinos love max bet players, according to former management. They know these players will burn through their bankroll quicker, stay longer trying to recover, and chase harder. It's the perfect customer from the casino's perspective. One former pit boss explained it this way. "When I saw someone sit down and immediately start max betting, I knew we'd have them for hours. They'd lose everything, go to the ATM, come back, and lose that too." Max bet players are our best customers because they think they're being smart, but they're actually just feeding the machine faster. Max bet is a weapon according to insider reports. Used correctly on the right machines with the right bankroll, it increases your potential. Used blindly, it destroys your wallet faster than anything else on the casino floor. When max bet helps, Progressive jackpots, where the top prize only unlocks at max bet. Video poker, where the royal flush payout jumps dramatically. Games with bet-dependent feature unlocks if your bankroll can handle it. Large bankrolls on high-volatility machines. When max bet destroys you, high-volatility slots with small bankrolls. Licensed brand machines with terrible RTP. Games with losses disguised as wins. Anytime you're chasing losses. Former casino employees all say the same thing. If you don't know which type of machine you're sitting at, max bet is not a strategy. It's a trap. And casinos are betting you won't figure that out until it's too late. If this helped you, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next video where we'll expose the machines casino employees refuse to play and why. Let me know in the comments. Have you been max betting? And did you know about these differences?